The first session today starts with a fire chat moderated by Tristan Gribbin, who flew in straight from Iceland, guys. So it's a long flight. She's the CEO and founder of Flow.is, which is a meditation technology platform serving corporate wellness with VR, web, and mobile apps. And she'll be talking with Cass and Chary from Cass and Chary in VR. You probably know them from their YouTube channel. So welcome,
Woo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susa, and it's great to be on stage with 4 female founders.
Yeah.
Woohoo! So the first question is, how did you first become interested in VR, AR, and what motivated you to start your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so actually Cass got me into VR, and I think she can explain that pretty well, how she did that.
Well, it's actually kind of a short answer, because, I used to work as a programmer, and at that tech company, they had the first developer kit headset, the Oculus DK1 and DK2. And, well, we tried it, and we were just completely sold, because I think we are gamers, and as gamer, you kind of want to always go into the game. That was kind of the dream. And with the VR headset, that is possible. So, sold completely.
Amazing. That's like this concept of heads in headsets. Once you're in, and once you've had an awe-inspiring experience, then it's then it's really amazing. So this brings me back to my story. How I got involved was I was allowed to go to the top of Mount Everest in virtual reality with the Everest experience. And when I was on the top of the world and looking in every direction at the magnificent views, which were shot in photorealism and stitched together and made into a magnificent experience, I just came to my team and said, we're gonna work with virtual reality, and we're gonna help millions of people to learn meditation through these tools.
That's amazing. I think actually we have a similar story.
Yeah, we do.
Funny enough. So I tried the app called National Geographic VR, and in there you could visit the Machu Picchu and in Peru. And it actually impacted us so much that we went there for a honeymoon last year.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
VR can
did
do
you
that.
make a video of that?
I didn't make the video of that, exactly. But we did post on social media about it.
Video, amazing. Some photos randomly.
It's amazing to follow your journey just in the short amount of time that I've gotten to know you, just looking at your incredible stories. It's great. So have you seen, because you've been in this business for about 7 years, same amount of time as I have, how have you seen the AR, VR landscape transforming?
Wow, I think a lot has happened in the last 7 years. For sure that headsets are now getting a lot more portable, smaller, more comfortable.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you used to need a strong computer and a really expensive headset to make it all work, and now it's way more accessible.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, making it more accessible. So there's a lot more people into VR.
Yeah.
I think we used to talk about VR, and people were like, "What? What is VR?" And now we talk about VR, and everyone has at least tried it a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of my first trade shows I went to in this industry was Oculus Connect 4 back in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
And when I compare that setting, which was a similar size as we have here at AWE, I mean, in terms of people, but there is a tremendous beauty in the diversity in the community. And people talk about this being like a family reunion, or it feels like everyone knows each other and everyone's in it together and willing to help each other. That's what I've noticed as compared to what I saw in 2017, which was exciting, but it feels like the evolution is going in a really, really positive direction.
Yeah, I think we agree with that. It's a very tight-knit community.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure.
So let's discuss some of the challenges we've faced growing your brand, the channel, the company. So I'd love to hear a few, as female founders, can you talk about some of how you've overcome some of the obstacles you faced along the way?
Yeah. I think one of the challenges we had before is, and I think every company probably has faced the same challenges before, is maybe negative feedback.
Yeah.
Where you do something and people don't agree with it. For example, VR was seen as a kind of a mimic at the beginning. So no one believed that that was gonna be a real thing. And I think it still happens a little bit. And I think that was one of the challenges that we had to face, where people were just talking to us and they said like, yeah, just stop what you're doing, this is going nowhere.
Yeah. But we also like grow from the negative feedback you get. Like what doesn't kill you, make you stronger, I would say. So like negative feedback can be like feedback that's just like really random. That's you cannot do nothing with. So you just have to ignore those. But if it's negative feedback that you can actually build from, that's always what we do. So if it's a negative comment or anything, we always answer, "Oh, thank you for the feedback. What would you like to see different?" And sometimes they even say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean like that." So sometimes if you interact like in a really positive way to a negative comment, they just change the whole narration.
That is a wonderful lesson in the journey, because being a founder, you're going to go on a roller coaster ride, and there are going to be people that are doubters and people that are cheerleaders and believers, and in a sense, you got to find your inner strength, right? And that grit and determination, never give up.
Yeah.
And just never give up. So that's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Just instead of coming back with a defense, you're saying like, ask a question.
Yeah.
And be welcoming to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm really curious to hear from you, because you have an amazing overview of the industry from your perspective of your channel and reviewing products. What makes a VR, AR, XR product or brand stand out? What are some of the key features that you're looking for when you're reviewing hardware or software?
I think for us, well, there are some general stuff, for example, display, resolution, field of view. But I think it's kind of hard with VR headsets because everything can be very subjective. So whatever I think is important can be really different for other people. But what I think is important is, I think, comfort. That's one thing that is very important, but also the experience that you can get. So I would rather use a headset that has less resolution, but has like the games or the apps or the stuff to do, than the other way around. So I think that's an important thing, the experience.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think so as well. It's also pretty personal as well, because I also wear glasses, so that's something I sometimes also take in consideration if I wear like a AR or VR headset. But definitely like the field of view, your comfort. Yeah, I think comfort is for me like one of the top things I definitely look at. Also like with AR headsets.
Yeah, for me it's more software. So
yeah.
I think that should be the focus as well.
And then as a content creator myself and designer, so what are the features in like software or games that you get really attracted by?
Well, I personally like games that have a story that teaches me something or that can impact me. And I think VR as a medium can impact someone already just by wearing a VR headset. So I think anything that has like a story that I can learn from. That's for me.
Experiences that afterwards when you take off the headset, you're like, whoa, what did I just do? What did I just like learn from that? That's definitely agree with that as well. Because also like VR is a memory. It's not something you just read. It's turning into a memory, like you actually experience that. And I love that.
Yeah, same here.
Absolutely. So I think, I'm going to ask next about, because you work with clients, right? You work with games or gaming creators. How do you approach a new client, and what is it that what are the main marketing strategies that you provide that are the most powerful when you're marketing VR companies?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good question. Where actually, I think the process can be a little bit different for depending on the company. When it's like, the usual process is usually like this: a company reaches out to us, and they usually will tell us, it's either a game or a product that they want us to talk about on the channel. And usually they put like a little description, a little title, and we read that. We read every email and we check out their product beforehand. I think that is really important for us to see if it matches with our target audience. So we try to see if it resonates with our target audience and with their target audience as well. Because sometimes we already know beforehand that maybe a certain game or subject would not do well on our channel. So what we try to do is always test them out before talking about putting it on the channel. Yeah.
And those are as you were mentioning before, Chary, like it's the games and the experiences that tell stories that have a profound impact on you. And I was just going to chime in that for me, like the Everest experience, or like with Flow, for me it's a lot about the human connection, the human experience. I think that the storytelling is a profound, deeply human tradition, goes back forever, and just like singing, storytelling, connecting. This is something that's deeply ingrained in as human beings, and VR is a medium for that.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm with you on those points that you're making.
Same here.
Yeah, I also think like when we like cover certain things, it's mostly also those kind of subjects that are mostly like really good in the game or experience that we do cover, and that's definitely what we see in our audience as well, that they like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting question that I kind of want to throw out as well to the audience, because we're going to have a little bit of time at the end of these questions to actually have an interaction and have Q&A. So my question to you first is, how can creators in this industry maintain authenticity and grow trust with audiences while promoting brands and products? Because we're talking here about, it is a business, it's an industry. We need to sell to make a bright future for the products and brands. But how do you maintain that authenticity? Do you have some insights about that?
I think it's really important to, if you're working with creators, because I can only talk from the creator side, that you allow them to have their own creative freedom. So, because we know what our audience needs or want to see. So yeah, you can give us talking points, of course, but let us have our own creative flow on it. I think that's really important, because that's the only way that we can help make the video do better, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for your viewers, it's always really important to be really honest. Like if you have a sponsored video, always mention that, and also be honest what they can expect from you. So if it's a sponsored video, okay, how are you as creator with sponsored videos? Like what are the things you do? So we are always really honest about our opinion. We also communicate that when we do with the company, if we work together.
Yes.
But we also tell our audience that, so they know what to expect.
Yes.
So I think honestly is like really on top of that list for your audience, that they know what sort of creator you are.
Yeah, we actually send, if there's a sponsored deal in our inbox, we always talk to them, and we always say that our condition is we don't accept any review direction.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a little bit, I just personally don't like that. I think it's a little bit unethical.
Yeah.
So if a company can't accept that, well then we will say no.
Exactly. I think that's great that you maintain your freedom, and I think that's also same for like a company like my company. We have to maintain our freedom in terms of the content that we create, and creators need to have freedom in order to create, to make outstanding products. It can't be controlled by like an outside force. Interesting. In these times where there's like a lot of pressures, and but people are rising up to the pressures and creating a lot of amazing and outstanding experiences. Okay. So how can this industry that we're all in here revolutionize how people interact with brands? Because it's a new space. Yeah.
Well, I think we're seeing a lot of stuff happening here at AWE as well. For example, I saw at Snap AR, what they're using right now is they make little filters for brands, like clothing brands, and you can actually try them on. And we tried it, and I thought it was really cool, because you can actually turn around and you'll see the backside of your of the jacket that you're wearing. those kind of technologies, I think that was really impact how brands can communicate with their audience.
And also like an example, probably everyone knows IKEA. Just having your stuff in there and see what it looks like beforehand, or even in architecture, being able to walk through a building or like a house that you're gonna buy beforehand. Those kind of things are possible because of VR, AR, and I think that's amazing.
I think as well a good example is maybe Gran Turismo VR. I don't know if you know that game, but that's a very realistic racing simulator, and it's in VR. And I don't like racing games. I actually kind of hate them, but I got really into that game because there's like actual car brands showing off the cars there, and they let you test drive those cars. And it actually felt pretty real to me, and I actually got to know a little bit more about their brands. I think that's also a very nice way to teach a little bit more about the brands or something.
Yes, so to summarize it, I think just being able to experience things in a different way or beforehand, and that's what AR and VR is bringing us.
Like imagine you can try on an outfit and look and see, turn around and see yourself in a mirror, even though you're not actually putting the clothes on. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
For example, lots of different examples like that. I once visited Varjo in Helsinki, and I got to see my reflection in the top of a car. Like it was just extraordinary. It's the experience, really. Like you're there, you're seeing it, you're almost touching it.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot more impactful than just reading from a paper or looking at a picture, maybe.
So what are some of the most memorable experiences you've had in the industry? And I'm mindful of time because I'd like to open up to Q&A. But just some like impactful moments, because you guys have had a big adventure.
Yeah, so from mine is actually the proposal video Cass made for me. So she proposed for me in VR, and that's for me personally like the most like.
It was during COVID time.
It was during COVID,
so it was in lockdown.
During lockdown,
I had to do something creative.
Yeah, we couldn't go out. We couldn't go to a different place. I did go to a different place, but then in VR, and that's something I will never forget. And that's definitely something I will. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Thank you. And I mean, I have a lot of moments just. There's so much magic, in this community and meeting the right people, and then the one thing leads to another. But I think one of my most memorable moments is when I took Flow, my first prototype, to Norway, to a trade show, and a CEO, he said like, well, I think meditation's kind of weird. My wife is doing it, but I'm not into it. But I want to try it because of the headset. So he sat down in his suit, and put the headset on. And he stayed in for quite a while. And I was like, wow, I wonder what's happening for him. And when he took the headset off, he said, I found nirvana. I would use this every day at my desk to de-stress. And then another CEO at that same show said, I want this for my 26,000 employees.
Oh, wow.
So those moments really stay with you as like North Star, how to keep going. Why never give up when you know that you have something amazing to give to the world.
I love that.
Yeah, and anyway, thank you for sharing your personal story. I think that people, as you said, people love personal stories. Yeah, and that's why people really gravitate to you, to your channel. It's amazing. So what advice can we give to creators? I'd like to open that up. If there are anyone in the audience that want to ask Cass and Chary any questions, or myself, is there anything you'd like to hear about? For example, here we go. Thank you so much.
I was told to use the mic. Thank you for your story. I didn't know who you were until Nathan told me to come in, so I'm really grateful I got to see you and hear about you. I'm brand new in this industry, trying to create a sex worker DAO and metaverse, working with another organization who's started to make this, but doing sexuality experiences and education and experiences for humans to get better at sex and relationships. And it's really hard because nobody wants to fund sex projects and nobody wants to talk about it, even though we're all doing it and we're all thinking about it. So I'm always struggling with this. How do I talk to tech people and corporate places about this really important thing that they all want to get better at too, and we want these tools, but all the funding that I find in these projects goes towards things that aren't really funded to help creators and help humans and help our experiences get better. It's about how can we make money off of the sex industry, which isn't at all what we need. So I'd love just any thoughts you have or any kind of like being independent and trying to make this happen without any corporate funding or support in any way.
Well, I think community is going to be a big thing for you. There's a big online community for VR who are really passionate about VR, and I'm sure there's a big community in the sex community as well. And I think you could probably use something like Discord or Twitter and all kinds of different platforms, because there are huge Discord communities that you could use, and then you can probably do something there and maybe use Patreon, those kind of crowdsourcing platforms, because I have seen some of you in the same niche who are really big. So I think that could maybe help.
Yeah, because I actually also know like a lot of other VR, not VR YouTubers, but like sex educational channels. Actually, I follow even some of them. And I think what Cassie said, like the community is pretty big for that, even outside of VR. Mm-hmm. And I think it's actually, you can also look at those people and bring them into VR, like introduce those people maybe as well.
Can it work without ever having corporate funding? Like, can we just crowdsource it entirely?
I think so.
Why not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, definitely.
I think so. I think your message will reach a lot of people, and it's very brave.
Hello, my name is Javier. Just started my YouTube channel called Javier's Tech. I have 34 subscribers. My question is, how long did it take you to reach 1,000 subscribers? And how many do you need for brands to start taking you seriously?
Wow.
That's a good one.
I actually think you don't need a lot of subscribers for brands to take you seriously. Definitely not. You can even start at 100 subscribers. But I have to say, going to the first 1,000 is probably the hardest thing that you'll do. But once you get there and going to 10,000, it will go like much easier. And for some reason, the algorithm will pick up on you or something. I don't know. But it will be much easier. So don't give up. Keep on growing. And I think you can already show off that you're doing this, because brands can already work with you. Even if you just put yourself out there, brands can already take you seriously. So definitely reach out to them.
Yeah, and I also think a lot of brands also look at your activity. So if you're an active content creator, that's also something they're really looking at. Even there are content creators who post almost nothing, even though they have a lot of subscribers and don't get a really engagement. If you're like a smaller creator but are really active and they like your work, that's also something they're definitely looking at. So just don't give up. Yeah.
One more question?
So sorry, but we are running out of time for the session. But Tristan, Cass, Chary are here, so I'm sure they will answer anything you need. So give it up for our panel. Thank you so much.